Once upon a time, in a small, quiet town, lived a girl named Ilara. She was a painter, but not the kind who used brushes and canvases. Ilara painted with her emotions, and her tears were her ink. Every time she felt a strong emotion, joy, sorrow, love, or fear, single tear would fall, crystallizing into a beautiful, glowing gem. Each gem held a memory, a story captured in its shimmering facets. Ilara lived a secluded life in a little cottage at the edge of the whispering woods. The townsfolk thought she was strange. "She cries, Jules," they'd whisper, their voices a mix of awe and suspicion. They didn't understand her gift, and so they kept their distance. Ilara didn't mind. Her gems were her companions. She would spend hours gazing at them, reliving the moments they held. A sun-yellow gem was the joy of her first dog. A sky-blue one was the peace of watching a sunset. And a deep crimson gem was the heartbreak of her first love. One day, a darkness began to creep over the town. Not a literal darkness, but a shadow of the spirit. A strange melancholy fell upon the people. Laughter became rare, smiles faded, and a heavy silence replaced the usual cheerful chatter in the market. The colors of the town seemed to gray, and an unspoken sadness weighed on everyone's heart. No one knew the cause, but they all felt its chilling effect. People stopped visiting each other. The children no longer played in the streets, and the town's vibrant energy was gone. Ilara felt it too. A deep, collective sadness seeped into her cottage. It was a sorrow so profound that for the first time her tears wouldn't form. Her heart felt heavy, but her eyes remained dry. She felt disconnected from her own emotions, unable to create the gems that were her life's work. Her source of light and color was gone, just like the town's. Worried, she decided she couldn't stay hidden away any longer. She had to understand what was happening to her home. She packed a small bag with a few of her most cherished gems, a bright, golden one from a day spent laughing with her grandmother, and a soft, pink one from the kindness of a stranger. These gems were her reminders of happiness, her proof that light still existed. With a deep breath, she stepped out of her cottage and walked towards the center of the silent town, determined to find the source of the gloom. Her first stop was the baker's shop, once a place filled with the warm scent of bread and the baker's booming laughter. Now it was cold and quiet. The baker, a man named Thomas, was staring blankly at an unlit oven. "Thomas?" Lar asked softly. He looked up, his eyes hollow. "There's no point," he mumbled. "No one wants bread. No one wants anything." Ilara felt a pang of his despair. She remembered a day when she was a little girl, and she'd fallen and scraped her knee right outside his shop. Thomas had rushed out, not with a bandage, but with a warm, sugary bun that made her forget all about the pain. She reached into her bag and pulled out the golden gem, the one holding the memory of her grandmother's laughter. She placed it on the counter. The gem glowed with a soft, warm light, casting a golden hue across the dusty room. "I remember my grandmother's laugh," Ilara said. "It sounded like sunshine." "This gem holds that sound." Thomas stared at the gem, his gaze softening. A flicker of something, a distant memory of warmth, crossed his face. He didn't smile, not yet, but the rigid line of his mouth relaxed. He picked up the gem, its light warming his palm. "Sunshine," he repeated, his voice barely a whisper. Ilara continued her journey. She found the town's weaver, Anya, sitting before her loom, her threads in a tangled mess. Anya was known for weaving tapestries that told the town's history in vibrant colors. Now she just sat there, her hands idle. "The colors are all gone," Anya said, her voice flat. "There's nothing beautiful left to weave." Ilara took out the soft, pink gem, the one from the time a stranger had helped her gather spilled apples. She placed it in Anya's hand. "This is the color of kindness," Ilara explained. "A small act that made a gray day feel bright." The gem pulsed with a gentle, rosy light. Anya looked at it, then at her tangled threads. Slowly, she reached out and picked up a single pink thread, her fingers tracing its texture as if for the first time. Word of Ilira's journey began to spread through the hushed town. People started peeking out of their windows, curious about the girl with the glowing stones. She visited the lonely old librarian, the discouraged blacksmith, and the musician whose flute had fallen silent. To each of them, she offered a gemma memory of courage, a spark of inspiration, a note of harmony. She didn't try to fix their sadness. She simply shared a piece of her own light, a reminder of the emotions they had forgotten. With each gem she gave away, Ilara felt a little lighter. She was sharing her stories, her very soul, with the people she had lived amongst, yet never truly known. As she shared her light, she noticed something incredible happening. In the baker's shop, a small fire flickered to life in the oven. In the weaver's home, a single pink thread was woven into a gray tapestry. The musician picked up his flute, and a single, hesitant note floated on the air. Finally, Ilara arrived at the town square. A small crowd had gathered, their faces still somber, but with a new curiosity in their eyes. They watched as she stood by the dried-up central fountain. She had given away all her old gems, all her past joys and sorrows. She had nothing left. The collective sadness of the town still hung heavy in the air, and she felt it pressing down on her. And then she looked at the faces around her. She saw Thomas, the baker, holding his golden gem. She saw Anya, the weaver, with the pink gem pinned to her shawl. She saw all the people she had visited, each holding a small point of light. They weren't smiling, but they were present. They were together. Seeing them, seeing the small lights flickering against the gloom, a powerful emotion swelled in Ilara's chest. It wasn't just her own feeling, it was theirs, too. It was a shared hope, a collective desire for the light to return. A single, brilliant tear rolled down Ilara's cheek. But this one was different. It wasn't just hers. It shimmered with the baker's rediscovered warmth, the weaver's rekindled creativity, and the musician's first note. It held the shared hope of the entire town. As the tear fell, it didn't crystallize into a small gem. It landed in the dry fountain, and an explosion of pure, radiant light erupted, washing over the entire square. The light was warm and brilliant, chasing away the shadows from every corner of the town. As it touched the people, they blinked, as if waking from a long dream. A child giggled. Color flooded back into the world. The roofs turned red again. The sky brightened to a brilliant blue, and the scent of flowers filled the air. The heavy weight of melancholy lifted, replaced by a feeling of profound relief and connection. The people looked at Ilara, no longer with suspicion, but with gratitude. They finally understood. Her tears were not a strange curse, but a gift. A gift of feeling, of memory, and of light. From that day on, Ilara was no longer the strange girl in the cottage. She was their storyteller, their keeper of light. And they learned to share their own stories, their own tears of joy and sorrow, realizing that in sharing their emotions, they created a light that no darkness could ever extinguish. The tears still fell, but now they were everyone's, and together they were dazzling. Thank you for watching this story. We hope it inspires you to find a light in your own emotions and to share it with others. If you enjoyed this way of learning English, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories. See you next time.